Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. This is your T-shirted historian. This week is kind of special. You know, I'm not going to lie and say, oh, I've been a fan of Fallout ever since the very first one came out, because that's a lie. I mean, I played Wasteland back when it first came out on PC years ago. Years and years and years and years and years ago. And then Fallout, I kind of missed that one because it was a little hard to get, and I guess I never really heard about it back in the day. But I was lucky enough to get Fallout 2, and that's kind of where my Fallout experience started. I never finished it. I've since gone back and played it some more along with Fallout 1. And I like them, but I do find them a little difficult to kind of play these days after what we've really been exposed to with the newer marvels of Fallout technology. So for me, Fallout 3 was pretty much what I consider to be my real introduction to Fallout. Because I got Fallout 3 first on PlayStation 3, and I played the hell out of that thing. I mean, wonky aiming controls and everything. I played it and played it and played it, and I loved every minute of it. And I got it on PC a little bit later because of the modding community. And then they brought out a Game of the Year edition, and I bought that too. And then they came out with the big Nuka-Bomb edition, and I bought that one too. And obviously I bought New Vegas, still on, in the box way back in the day. I've bought Fallout many, many times, and I've really enjoyed it. 3 is always going to be my favorite. And I mean, I know that's a lot of people are saying, well, no, I guess you're not a real Fallout fan then, but I don't care. That's what I like. It's what I enjoyed, and I'm not going to apologize for it. And I still enjoy it. I would love to be able to play it on my modern PC, but I've really found it difficult to keep the game from crashing and deadlocking my machine every, 5 to 10 minutes because of poor optimization. And I've heard Bethesda's going to give Fallout 4 the, the cinematic upgrade treatment and all this other stuff with some new downloads and shit. And I think that's really cool, but I really wish they would go back and do that for Fallout 3 and make it compatible on the newer PCs. I think they owe it to Fallout 3 because that was Bethesda's first take on the Fallout series, after Interplay. And I think they need to go back and honor that. But what can I say? I got so many hours on Fallout, on all of them. It's been part of my life growing up, I guess. I mean, over the last, 30 years. So when Amazon announced that they were doing a Fallout series, I was kind of like everybody else. I kind of groaned, and I thought, oh, it's going to be a piece of shit. It's going to be a piece of shit. And I was really pleasantly surprised. It wasn't that bad at all. I really enjoyed it. Do I have some problems with it? Yeah, I've got some problems with it, but is it better than a lot of the other stuff I've seen out there? Yeah, I mean, it's enjoyable. It's certainly better than most anything else I've seen on Amazon Prime. I'm looking at you, Rings of Power. and I have to admit, I was a little bit more trepidatious about this because I heard who was going to be on it, which was Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy. Because I had been a huge Westworld fan when it came out, and I loved season 1. I thought season 1 was so good of Westworld. And I thought, man, this is going to be a great show, and it's going to, just go on forever, and it's going to be, just magnificent. Season 2 was, season 3 was garbage. Season 4 was a big, huge trash fire. And so I have to admit, as much as I like this new Amazon Fallout, I seriously hope that even though they had a great first season, or they're having a good first season, I hope they don't drop the bomb for season 2 and however other many seasons they get past that. I don't want to see this show suck. Nobody does. We're fans. We want to see good stuff. We want to have something to talk about. We want to be able to enjoy our hobbies, our fandoms. So I don't know if Jonathan or if Nolan and Lisa Joy are going to hear this or see this or anything. Probably not. But y'all don't fuck this up, please. Please don't fuck this up. Okay, you got a good thing here so far. Don't fuck it up. All right, let me get my other panelists on. Hey guys.
Hello.
Hi.
So, anyway, yeah, been watching Fallout this week.
So, wait, if you can say it gets the thumbs up.
Hopefully it's not the one that's looking at the nuclear explosion.
Yeah. Actually, I should change my background real quick. Hang on. I got
Here you
one.
go.
There you go. I've got my own Fallout bunker.
Hey, there you are. You're prepared.
Also, I didn't know I was on stream with a Fallout 3 pleb.
Yeah, well, like I said, I consider Fallout 3 to be my first real Fallout game, even though I did play 2.
Now, I've been a fan since literally the beginning. I started with like the original demo that was just like a version of Junktown from Fallout 1, with like its own little like quest line and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I started out with Wasteland, so meh.
Well, I started out with Wasteland 2, but you mentioned the one on PC. I started with the one on the Commodore 64. So
oh, wow. Yeah.
See, the thing is, I'm not exactly the biggest Fallout fan. Like, I've played a game here or there, but I think most of the time when these games were coming out, I was busy like playing JRPGs. So that's where my gaming's been at.
Yeah.
I know
Fallout could be interesting.
I know Grim is a fan.
Yes, since I think Fallout 2. It may have been Fallout 1. If I played Fallout 1, that was on someone else's computer.
I can't remember when I played Fallout 1 and 2, but it seems like it had to have been close to when they came out. I know it was like 1999 or something like that.
Originals from 97. Fallout 1.
So it was close, but as soon as Baldur's Gate came out, the Fallout was forgotten about. It was like I put it in a drawer and forgot about it.
I think that's about right. Okay, so let's see. I got a comment from Jason Brady. Says, I have never played the games. You struggle to make time to watch shows. So is the show worth making time for, and does it stand alone, or would I be lost watching it? They structured it in such a way as to where you don't have to have seen any of the games or played them or know anything about it. So obviously you can get into it. Now, don't make the mistake that some of the Twitter idiots have made and start posting up shit like, oh, they don't explain anything. Where do the vaults come from? They don't. And I'm just like, you know what? Watch the whole fucking show. Watch the whole fucking show. Episode 1 to episode 8. They will answer all the goddamn questions.
Or just not be dumb and be able to extrapolate,
Yeah.
Well, what happened to stories where they didn't have to explain everything. Like you just figured it out on your own because you're a smart guy.
Well,
Yeah.
the one thing I would say, sort of in defense of that a little bit, is for anyone who isn't familiar with this franchise, and I at least know a little bit of the basics. It's something they probably could have benefited to sort of explain away a little, to help kind of explain some of the kind of advancement of that nuclear technology, to where things like robots are far more common. I think that's probably one complaint audience is who are unfamiliar with.
The original games didn't explain that much either, though. Like Fallout 1 doesn't tell you about what the vaults were, what WOPCO is, why the vaults are like there.
Yeah.
You just are a guy in a vault after a nuclear war, and you get sent out to retrieve the water chip, and that's all you know. And then throughout the course of like 20 plus years of like these games, now we've got all this lore, but you don't really need it.
I think it does a good job of introducing you to the world through the eyes of a naive vault dweller that hasn't been up there before. So as you discover the world, she's discovering the world, and vice versa. So that works as a good storytelling frame. Plus, you have the ghoul with the flashbacks to the world before, and that helps create an awareness of the world for you. I do agree that the only thing that might throw some people is that it is this kind of 50s B movie apocalypse. It's not, A Boy and His Dog or any of the more familiar sort of post-apocalyptic setups where we know it is a throwback to that 1950s setup, which is the only thing that maybe throws people a bit, I would think.
Certainly not Threads.
But how do you even explain that in the show without doing like a bunch of exposition? Because even in the game explanation, it's like it's alternate history. They invented the microchip. Everything is still like vacuum tubes, and it's basically the 1950s, or it's the future as envisioned in the 1950s. That's the whole setup. So,
basically, yeah. And it's important to remember too that even though the flashbacks look like they take place in the 1950s, it isn't the 1950s. It's actually like 2077.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that at first was kind of hitting me in the face, because I was saying, interracial relationships and a lot of the Hollywood casting, and thinking, wow, that sure is a lot of mixed people in that same setting and everything. And then I started thinking, oh, wait a minute though, this isn't our Earth history. This is an alternate reality Earth history, and it takes place in 2077 when you see the flashbacks. So it's not the 1950s. And there were some diversions in the technology as far as the timeline goes, because yes, they full-heartedly embraced atomic energy and nuclear power and Tesla mechanics and things. So it is it's very different.
I think if you were like us and grew up with boomer parents and you grew up during the Cold War, much of this is well understood. All you have to do is, you get it right away. But I can see if your parents are 40 years old and grew up with the Nintendo 64 and had no exposure to the Cold War, and you don't know anything about that, then maybe you need a little bit more explanation.
Well, but also it's obviously a show that's based on an established franchise, so it should cater to those people, to the people that know that franchise. It's like, sorry if you've never played Fallout and you don't get it. Well, maybe read up on Fallout then. Like that's like me jumping into some show based on a game I've never played and being mad that I don't understand anything.
Actually, I think that's a really good choice, because that is one of the problems that I have seen with all these Hollywood adaptations of franchises that have already been established, that we already know about and love, is the fact that in trying to make these things accessible to everybody, they dumb them down or they alter them in such a way as to mess up the source material and ruin it for the established fan base. And that's one thing I like about this series, is it didn't do that.
Yeah, definitely. So. It was very refreshing to see a show that pretty meticulously references the items of like I noticed like stuff from Fallout 1 even. It wasn't even just all like Bethesda stuff. Like at one point, one of the characters has like a pistol that's like the 10mm pistol from Fallout 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So they very meticulously recreated that stuff.
And plus the Shady Sands.
Yeah. Well, I haven't gotten to that point yet, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, spoiler alert, I guess, maybe.
No, I figured it's set in California, so I figured, it's going to reference all that shit, but yeah.
Well, okay. I hate to spoil this for you guys. Maybe I should save it till the end. But
I haven't watched past episode 4 yet.
Okay. Well, Shady Sands does come up in the show, and I know a lot of fans of Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 are probably going to be real pissed about it. Fans of Fallout New Vegas are going to be pissed off about the NCR. They don't reference Caesar's Legion at all. They do reference the Fiends, but only in it's almost a throwaway thing for the Fiends. Is like, yeah, Fiends are cannibals instead of, the drug crazed monsters that they are in Fallout New Vegas. But they do reference Shady Sands. You probably won't like it, but I will say this about Shady Sands. Whether you like it or not, I'm kind of glad they did what they did with Shady Sands because, to be honest, I don't think anybody would want to see Bethesda pick up the Shady Sands stories from that were originally by Interplay and Obsidian, Black Isle,
like the NCR and stuff like that. I don't know.
Well, that's
a big part of Fallout.
It was, but you got to remember this series is supposed to be canonical. So, according to Bethesda, this is
but it's the Bethesda canon, though. Let's be honest.
It is the Bethesda canon.
Yeah.
But considering they're the custodians of the franchise now, that they're pretty much whatever they're saying is the future of Fallout.
Well, they're also known for being pretty butthurt about New Vegas because New Vegas is more popular than pretty much most of the stuff they put out, and that was the interplay.
Yeah. All I can say about New Vegas, Vic, is wait until the last episode and watch it all the way to the end for New Vegas.
Okay.
Because I have a feeling that second season is going to be all about New Vegas, or at least New Vegas is going to play a big part of it. But yeah, like I said, I'm kind of glad that they did what they did with Shady Sands. Not because I don't like the original stuff, but because I don't think all the people who enjoyed Fallout 1 and 2 would like to see Bethesda take on the Shady Sands story and take it further, because that would definitely ruin whatever had been established in the first two. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I guess the only way I can say it is like, imagine if I bought the Sistine Chapel and then I decided to paint over the ceiling.
I'm kind of trepidatious because a lot of reviewers are saying that the second half of the show is vastly inferior to the first half.
It does kind of seem like there is a little bit of setup and no payoff here and there. It does kind of feel like it had a little bit of pacing issues in the second half. Like they were having so much fun with the first half of the series. And then the second half of the series is like, oh shit, we have a lot of exposition. We have a lot of shit to catch up on. We have a lot of stuff to finish up before we end this season. I feel like if they had at least extended it a couple of more episodes and given them some more time to stretch out things, it would have been better. And it would have let some of those storylines play out better. But it kind of is what it is. Yeah.
I will say, Henry Cavill, watch the show because this proves you can do Space Marines on the screen and make it work. Like, this proves it can be done. And everyone's like, you can't do that.
Yeah,
looking at those, looking at those suits, they look like what cosplayers have built to be Space Marines at conventions and things. It must be the same sort of underlying
and they are
technology. And it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, those are actual suits. They're not. I mean, I'm sure there's some CG in it, but as far as I know, the T60 suits that they wear in the show that's an actual full size suit.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, yeah, I mean, looking at the characters, I was afraid, kind of like everybody else was, that because they were putting Lucy in all the advertisements, that this was going to be another girl boss, girl power, female fronted piece of crap, woke ass piece of crap from Hollywood. And she gets her ass kicked a lot.
Yeah, she's not like a Mary Sue, really.
Mm-mm.
I like in the beginning, in the first episode when she's like battling off her, like, her training and stuff. It's like, yeah, I'm good at unarmed, but I'm like bad at shooting, and that like kind of references, the skill system in Fallout. I thought that was neat.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. Obviously, Walt Goggins steals the show as the ghoul.
Yeah, definitely.
He's so fucking good. Every time he's on screen, he steals that show.
Yeah, but I keep expecting him to. It's not the same actor, but I keep expecting him to say, "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all." It kind of reminds me of that character.
He kind of does. He kind of reminds me of his character from Justified a little bit, but
yeah.
But what do y'all think of? Well, I mean, let's look at all the different characters. Okay, so what do y'all think of Lucy? I mean, do you think you don't think she's a Mary Sue?
Yeah, she's fine.
No.
Yeah, she gets beat up and stuff. I think it's kind of endearing that she's trying so hard to stay with her morality. And some people are like, oh God, her overbearing morality. But I'm like, yeah, but in the second episode, they reference how, the vault that she's grown up in is a meritocracy, and they believe in, doing good and all these other things. So,
yeah.
It makes sense.
So good.
If you grow up in that kind of environment, I mean, all the vaults are meant to be social experiments.
Yeah.
So they're going to be hammering and programming that whatever the vault ideology is into whoever's there. So it makes perfect sense for her to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it emphasizes the naivety, I think.
Yeah. Also, everything in Fallout is kind of like a send-up. It's kind of like a stereotype, like purposely. So
Yeah.
Like her being like a little, like all the characters being like larger than life, like that kind of like makes sense in the Fallout, setting. That's what Fallout is about.
Mm-hmm.
Downloaded the good old games version while I've been waiting here because it's on sale for 65% off Fallout 3. Apparently that version is just play and go. There's not a single problem with it. Like, they fixed it.
I've had problems with it, but
the good old games.
Yeah, I bought it on GOG. I bought it on Steam. I've had problem after problem with it, and it's the OS change. I mean, because back when I had it on the original old Windows and stuff like that, it worked fine, but the newer stuff it has problems with.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm just gonna replay Fallout 2.
It's making me want to run my Fallout UK campaign with Modifius's RPG.
There's a big mod coming out that's Fallout UK that looks really good. It's for Fallout 4.
Yeah.
And it looks really awesome.
Yeah, I've been avoiding that though because I don't want to contaminate my own ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a whole setting like for years now that's like Fallout Florida, and then every time they keep hinting that the next official Fallout is going to be like Florida, I'm like, no, please don't. then I can't use all my ideas anymore.
Yeah, and plus Modifius announced like they put all their Fallout stuff on sale this entire month in celebration of the show.
Yeah, not much of it's worth it though, to be honest. Core book's good, Settler's Guide and Wanderer's Guide less useful but perhaps necessary, and the rest of it you can do without the adventures and stuff. But as a developer, it is a pain in the ass when you're working with someone else's IP because everything has to be checked.
Yeah.
Gosh, keep trying to avoid spoilers, but it's really hard to. I think one of the things that did bother me about this particular show, this particular season, is they really tell you a little bit too much about the background of Vault Tech and all the stuff behind it. And I guess that's mostly done for people who are new to the show, so they'll understand. But for me, it was always kind of fun because it was like Vault Tech was the mysterious company. You don't know why every vault was, basically an experiment, why they set it up that way. And they kind of give away that secret in the show, and I don't know if I necessarily liked it. Plus, you find out that the ghoul is the Vault Boy.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that was obvious right from the first episode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree, Matt. John's game is perfect for this setting. Yeah, Basic Experts Atomic System is good for this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's working on the new version.
Yeah. I had hoped he'd be here today to be able to talk about it. But
yeah, he took his family to a museum, so
yeah,
didn't really get to do much today, except that.
Plus, he's been sick, so poor guy.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't mind Lucy. I think she's fine. The Brotherhood of Steel character is pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. We haven't really said much about.
But yeah.
Yeah, we haven't really talked much about the Brotherhood of Steel character. Maximus. Mm-hmm. So, what do we think about him?
I think he's interesting. Like I said, he's a little bit of a scumbag, a little bit of a coward. But I think that's interesting because, again, he's a diverse, they obviously picked a diverse actor, but they didn't go the route of where, he's like some superhuman Giga Chad who can do no wrong, So, that's refreshing.
Yeah. Obviously, I haven't seen the series all the way through yet, but what I find interesting about his character is that it seems like he idolizes the Brotherhood of Steel because they rescued him when he was a kid. That you find out in the first episode, so that's not spoilers really. But then, his view of the Brotherhood seems to get tarnished pretty rapidly, and you feel like he's trying to uphold the values that they profess but don't uphold. But then he fails as well to hold those same values. So he's interesting. I think he's got some depth.
Yeah. Plus, he was he's a victim. He was picked up as a kid, as a little survivor by them, and he just doesn't want to feel that weak anymore. So he's kind of drawn to, power and wearing the suit and stuff like that, so he can feel strong and protected. And
yeah, I think it's nice that he's not. That he isn't a super powerful character. He is kind of weak. He is kind of picked on. He is a bit of an underdog. And he's not perfect or anything, but he tries. And I think his character has a lot of room for growth. So I'm kind of looking forward to see what happens to him. I'm also, same thing with Lucy, really, because her character not being perfect and not being the best at everything like that is kind of like, I feel like it'll be interesting to see how she grows as the series goes on, and I think I kind of think the ghoul's going to have a lot to do with kind of her transformation into more of a wastelander than a vault dweller.
Well,
I agree, Kit. That's exactly what I was thinking as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, because Knight Titus is an asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, the first thing he does is he pulls the cod piece off and tells him, clean that.
That did kind of bother me a little, maybe, because it's I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Still should be I don't know. They kind of like it. Kind of felt like they made the knights a joke. It's like, oh, it's just this dumb fucking weird asshole instead of like an honorable like badass. But I don't know.
Well,
I guess maybe he's like an outlier or something. But yeah.
Well, there's two things about the Brotherhood has been like the most inconsistent group, because like the Brotherhood in 3 was very different from the Brotherhood in 4, was very different from the Brotherhood in 5 or in Vegas, New Vegas. So they're like a very inconsistent bunch to begin with.
Yeah,
but
they kind of tried to explain that by having like the East Coast and the West Coast Brotherhood, and then
and not really communicating with each other until the Pridwang comes along.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But the other part of it too, something I wasn't expecting is the Brotherhood. They were playing the Johnny Cash music throughout all of it, and everybody was like all tough, and everybody's yelling insults at each other and beating the shit out of you. And I'm kind of like, I never really expected the Brotherhood to be that way. I mean, yeah, I'm sure they wanted tough recruits and they wanted all this other stuff, but they're just like almost like a straight up military organization, like an old school military organization.
Well, that's
which is unusual.
Well, that's what the Brotherhood is founded on, though.
Mm-hmm.
They were soldiers that survived, and then
Yeah, I felt they laid on the religious stuff a little bit thickly. It was a bit too Space Marine for me.
Yeah. I don't ever remember the Brotherhood, even mentioning clerics. That was kind of unusual. I mean, scribes and stuff, yeah, but I don't ever remember them referring to clerics in any of the games. So that's kind of unusual. Yeah, Patty, I agree. Whenever Titus took his helmet off and it was Michael Rappaport, I was fully expecting it to be a woman under that suit. Because here's what I was thinking. I thought, okay, Knight Titus is actually a girl under all that, and it's just a voice distorter. And him and her and Maximus are going to end up forming a bond and getting close. And it's like, and that's totally not what happened at all.
No.
Instead, Titus is Michael Rappaport, and he's an asshole. And
the way they treat the recruits and stuff kind of had like it felt a little bit like Fallout Tactics, where the Brotherhood is very militant, and they will like get conscripts, and you just treat it like cannon fodder, and just
yeah.
So that I guess it harkens back a little to that, but
yeah. And I don't know if Maximus is doing it just because he can, but whenever he gets his own squire, he kind of starts mistreating him too, and I'm just kind of like, I didn't know if that was like an uncharacteristic thing or not, because I thought, okay, well, is he just getting his own, or is he just doing this because he's in power?
No, but that squire is the one that was his bully, though, so he's taking revenge on his bully. But then they do a good job of making that bully seem sympathetic, because the bully doesn't know he's him, and the bully is like, I just did it because they were bullying me, and I just needed somebody to like get the attention off of me and stuff like that. So they didn't go the whole route of like, no, the bully is just like straight up evil. It's like, no, they also made him like dehumanized him, and I actually like that character. He's funny.
Yeah,
like that bit where he's telling like, I was a shitter. Like they fed me and then I shit and then they fed it to the flies. Like that made me laugh.
See, I never heard of fly farms. Is that like from Fallout 1 and 2?
I don't know, but it's a funny little.
And I'm guessing they're talking about bloat flies because But
so, no, that character, I like that character. He's funny. So
I do too. That's one thing I can say about the series. I liked all the characters pretty well. I don't think there was one particular character I could zero in on saying, God, I hated this guy. Which is refreshing.
There was one Brotherhood character that was a little bit jarring, but yeah.
What, you talking about Knight Titus or?
No, the one with the razor blade in the boot.
Oh yeah, yeah. She kind of seems a little bit on the modern, 2024 female stereotype, but yeah, in the you kind of find out more about her in the last episodes. But yeah, I think overall this first season was really good. Other people have complained about, how the action is all kind of messed up and all this kind of stuff. And I'm kind of like, yeah, I get that. But okay, I grew up on 80s cocaine-fueled action films and all that, and it's like, it's almost sacrilegious to pick those things apart, even though as bad as those are, it's like,
Messed up in what way? Like gory or?
No, yeah, Monkey Jeebus was was talking about how, they were in the second episode, the scene between Cooper and and Maximus, where they're fighting in the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
How the action is kind of like, like he throws the rope one direction and it comes out of another, and these bullet angles are wrong and all this other stuff, and I'm just kind of like, that just seems like some nitpicky shit.
Yeah.
Besides, the combat was always janky.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one thing too, man. It's like, god damn, the gore is over the top.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, obviously they
Zack
started
Snyder.
to play with Bloody Mess book.
Yeah. What were we saying?
It reminds me of a Zack Snyder, like the way the action and gore was in like Watchmen or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of. Just to pass her by, you talk about that. Was she a they them?
Oh yeah, of course they had a mustache. Like, come on.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, no, they were very obviously a they them, but
I don't know. I never heard pronouns or anything like that. David Guile was talking about, the pronouns. I'm like, I didn't notice any pronoun stuff going on in the show, but if there was, it escaped me.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I haven't actually seen anyone describe it as woke trash or whatever, but apparently some people have. I'm not seeing it.
I've seen it a little bit, but yeah. There's some shades of wokeness, but at the same time they also sometimes subvert it a little bit. So yeah, I don't know.
If there's anything to that, I think it is satirical in that the Vault Dwellers and their values are probably the closest to modern values, and then they come out and they have to deal with the real world.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a millennial joining a Gen X tech support crew. Yeah, you're in for a hazing pretty quick.
Oh, is that right? When the guy's interviewing Maximus, he refers to Dane as either they or them. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dane is probably the most woke part in the whole show. And then some people would argue, all the interracial stuff is pretty woke, but didn't bother me in this context. So,
the Moldaver character is a little bit on the woke side, as you'll find out.
Yeah.
As the show goes on, but I almost kind of feel like it was put in there deliberately. I don't know. I almost kind of feel like Nolan was kind of like putting woke characters in there deliberately, and then just kind of like defrocking them almost in the show, just like your ideology doesn't hold up here.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll see what I'm saying as you finish it out, and I don't know, maybe we can talk more about it next week if you guys get it finished watching. But I'd be curious to see what you guys have to say about the last part of the show. But yeah, there's some cool reveals in the show. Like I said, I think they gave away a little bit too much of the Vault story or too much of the Fallout story, just because it was like, I don't think we really needed to know why Vault Tech made all the vaults as social experiments.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think even Fallout 1 tells you anything about that.
As far as I know, none of the games ever tell you why.
Are we sure this is an actual canonical reason? Or is it
it's
an unreliable narrator?
It's supposed to be a canonical reason, because Cooper hears it kind of like directly from, the people in the past. Oh, and I should mention too that one of our favorite New Vegas people does get a cameo in it, sort of. Actually, it's not really a cameo. He actually gets speaking lines, but Mr. House.
Oh, nice.
Mr. House actually shows up in the flesh in the flashbacks.
That's fun.
Yeah, and I thought that was cool, and I'm hoping that he's going to play a part in the second season. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they say is the canonical ending to New Vegas, because as you know, there were a lot of different ways that story could go. I mean, obviously Caesar's Legion didn't win, because New Vegas is still kind of standing. But I'm kind of curious to see if Mr. House will still be around, or if he'll be canonically killed. Or
I'm curious how they square that circle with the NCR being kind of taken off the board.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want the NCR to go. I like the NCR.
The NCR are gone.
That's lame. It's lame and gay.
Yeah. Well, when you see how it happens, you'll probably hate that part.
No, I already know it. I'm on Twitter. I've seen spoilers.
Okay, so you've seen spoilers. All right. Well, yeah, because people were posting up what happened to Shady Sands on Twitter.
Thing is, it's not like that was the only settlement.
Yeah, no, Mojave Wasteland is like,
Yeah, and they have holdings up in Oregon as well.
But
and
at the same time, they didn't really need to address it. The whole show is set in LA, aka what is in Fallout 1, the Boneyard. The Boneyard is like how many miles from like Shady Sands on that map? Like they didn't have to address it at all. It could have been all very localized.
Yeah.
So
unless it's just like a middle finger to New Vegas.
Yeah, which it is. That's what I was trying to say earlier, because they are known to have kind of a beef with New Vegas, because New Vegas is more beloved than pretty much all of their games that they've put out. So
they did tie it to the main story as to why it happened. Whether or not you think it's a good explanation is kind of up to you. I sort of think it was kind of a ham-fisted response and reason to it. But it is what it is, and I'm kind of like, well, I'm not going to stop playing, Fallout games because of it. I'm certainly not going to stop playing Fallout games because of whatever happens in the show. I don't know when Fallout 5 will come out. Hopefully I won't be 60.
Man, we haven't even finished the new Elder Scrolls yet.
I heard, rumor that it's almost in a playable state, or it's in a playable state, and all this other stuff. So I'm guessing within the next 3 years they'll release it. But
yeah, and then it'll be playable another couple of years after that.
Yeah, and then they'll come out with another edition of it, and eventually we'll be playing Fallout, or we'll be playing Elder Scrolls 6 on refrigerators and stuff. Like they do with Skyrim.
Their game engine to one that works.
Yeah.
People will complain and they'll be like, but guys, glitches are funny. Look, you can post shorts up on TikTok of horses and shit glitching. Isn't that funny? It's like, no, it's not. I want to play the game.
I honestly, I had more glitches with New Vegas than any of the other ones, but that was because Obsidian didn't have a whole lot of time to get it worked on and finished and out. And the sad thing is, in an alternate timeline somewhere, they did, and there is a complete, absolutely crown jewel, perfect New Vegas that exists. If only we lived in that timeline. But yeah, I don't know. I'm rewatching the show again, so I can just kind of get some more, depth to it. There's another thing that kind of aggravated me, and that is I understand why they picked Ramin Djawadi to do the music, because that's who Jonathan Nolan likes, and that's who did all the Westworld stuff, and I get it. It's pretty much they took the entire team Westworld and then just moved them over to Fallout. And like I said, that's kind of what scares me about season 2, because that's when Westworld started going bad. But hopefully they learn from those mistakes and they'll do a better job with their season 2.
Yeah.
But if it had been me, I would have gotten in on Zur to do all the music for Fallout, because he's the one who did Fallout 3 and he's the one who did Fallout 4. And it would have been nice to have that canon as far as the music goes.
What do you mean the music? They had all the Fallout music. All you need is the old 50s songs.
Well, they had those, but I mean, I'm talking about, like the actual background music. The music gets really, really strong throughout the last few episodes, especially that last episode. There's a couple of tunes in there that are real impactful for the moment. And again, I don't want to get into too many spoilers, but god damn it. It's hard not to, because I hate the fact that it feels like the last half of the show really brings together what the whole series was about and why everyone is the way they are and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I binged the shit out of those episodes when they came out. I mean, I watched it premiere when it was coming out on Wednesday. I mean, you guys saw me in chat. I was going crazy. And then I watched the first 3 episodes that night. I mean, I don't think I got to bed until like 1 p.m. or 1 a.m., sorry. And went to work all tired and shit the next day. And as soon as I got home, I was binging the last episodes as fast as I could, because, man, I was excited about it. And I'm sure I missed a lot of things just because I was so excitedly trying to get through the story, just why I'm trying to rewatch it now. But, yeah, I mean, but I just love the fact that they got so much shit right in this show. I mean, they got the rad roaches. We haven't seen a death claw in the show, but there's definitely the promise of a death claw coming for season 2, because one of the characters is stepping through the desert, and you do see a big ass death claw skull. You saw gulpers, and what was cool about the gulper is I never actually looked at the gulper model in game very much. It's just kind of a case of, oh my god, gulper, shoot the shit out of it as fast as I can. But then you see the one they did for the show with all the fingers and shit on it, and I'm just kind of like, god, that thing is really horrifying.
Yeah, they had the bear, the Yogi, or whatever.
Yogwai, yeah.
Yogwai. Yeah. Yogwai was good.
As much as I've seen so far, they did have like a glimpse of a super mutant, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't really said anything about the super mutants yet. There's just a glimpse of it, but there's a hint that we could have a super mutant for season 2. One of the characters may turn into one. I don't want to give up a lot, but there's a hint. I'm not sure if I necessarily like the way that they explain the ghouls, because Cooper's having to shoot himself up with stuff in order to kind of keep from losing his mind. And I'm always kind of like, they always left the ghouls in the series as kind of a mystery. It's like, why do some people turn into ghouls and why do some people not turn into ghouls? And ghouls are functionally immortal because even though they get all rotten and pieces and shit fall off of them and all that, they don't die and stuff grows back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Their tissue regenerates.
It was to add an element of tension to the story, because obviously, it's kind of like a zombie thing. If he runs out of the injections, you kind of wonder what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Type of thing. Yeah. The thing is, it becomes such a kind of a crucial part of the story, and unlike a lot of other shows I can think of, it didn't become a throwaway. Like we were talking about Terminator Dark Fate not too long ago, right? And in that show, and in that movie, the cyborg chick has to have an injection of some certain stuff, or otherwise she'll lose it and die or whatever, and it only becomes a problem once in the film and then never comes up again.
Yeah.
Whereas it could have been used to create tension throughout the entire movie. In this case, it seems to be more like it's a pressing concern and it's going to be a thing throughout the series. We didn't see as many robots as I had kind of hoped. I mean, we did see a Mr. Handy in episode 3 and in episode 1.
Yeah, and there was the ruined assault one in the desert.
So I'm hoping we'll get to see some more of that. And I guess, we did
Matt
get the
Berry needs
announcement.
more work.
Yeah, Matt Berry does need more work. There was the announcement from Forbes. They haven't actually said that there's a season 2 coming, but they did say that the article from Forbes said that they just put out $153 million in qualified expenditures for the second season from the California Film Commission. Originally, the show was filmed in New York and Utah, so I guess now they're going to move production to California. So California is going to stand in for New Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be good to watch. I don't know, guys. I have hope, and I hate to get all excited and hopeful about it. I remember feeling this way whenever Westworld came out and how much of a letdown it was. I just don't want that to happen again. I want to love this show and I want it to be great.
Well, I think everyone's expectations were low, so they've been exceeded.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing, I think.
I agree. And I kind of wonder too if this isn't a case of, you remember how Eddie Murphy was describing it, where he says, like, if you're starving and somebody hands you a cracker and you're just like, oh damn, that's the best cracker I ever ate. Is that a Ritz cracker? Is that a saltine cracker?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm worried about. Is like, is it just because all the shows that we have seen have been so much shit lately that when one comes along that is actually kind of watchable and in a pretty good state and everything like that we're just kind of like, oh my god, this is great.
Well, I don't know. People said that about The Mandalorian. And while the later seasons are not as good, going back and watching that first season, I still think it's good. I think it holds up.
Yeah. And that's the problem, is the first season was good. The second season, it had some misses, but it had such a strong finish that, we thought it was going to be just sensational. And then third and fourth season happened, and you're just kind of like,
I thought the fourth season was almost hilariously bad.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen that one yet.
Well, let's see, that was the problem with Westworld season 3 and 4. They were just hysterically bad.
It's like they got a 15-year-old to write the script. Everything about the tone and everything changed for some reason. And I'm like, what the hell is this? This isn't The Mandalorian.
Yeah. I lost interest once it kind of shifted to the real world. That's not what I'd watch something called Westworld for,
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's when they lost the plot on that. It's like, oh yeah, let's come out of the park and everything. I'm like, no, let's not come out of the park. Let's stay in the park. It's called Westworld. It's not called let's look at the future.
It also just ended up being about robot feminism. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They were doing some interesting stuff like iterative consciousness and whether someone could transfer their consciousness and all of those kind of things. That was interesting, but they kind of let that slide, really.
Yeah, there were setups and no payoffs. And there is a similar setup and no payoff in the Fallout series. It's a tiny one. It's a small one. You'll almost overlook it, and they may address it. Well, no, I kind of don't see how they can address it in the second season. but it's a small one. That was a setup and a payoff, or no payoff, I should say. But I don't know. I just hope it's good. I want it to be, please don't let me down, guys. Please don't let me down. I also kind of wonder whether or not the success of the show is going to kind of catapult Bethesda to want to push out Fallout 6 or Fallout 5 faster.
Or push for an Elder Scrolls series or something.
Yeah. They're already, like I said, they are going to give Fallout 4 the kind of like the cinematic treatment and like, give it a new coat of paint or whatever. They've already been announcing that there's going to be a lot of new material coming out for Fallout 4. And nobody ever talks about Fallout 76 because it's kind of like the bastard child of Fallout now. And it's actually gotten better.
I was going to say, supposedly it's gotten better. Not to the extent that certain other games have, like Cyberpunk or No Man's Sky, but supposedly it's actually playable now.
Yeah, I still have my subscription. I still have my private world, and I log in every once in a while and check it out to see what's going on. And at least we have characters to interact with now and storylines, sort of.
I refuse to pay a subscription for that shit.
Yeah,
like that. Those should have all been core features.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I kind of feel like Bethesda was on life support there for a little bit.
Well, maybe they should do better.
I agree. Yeah, instead of wasting time with stuff like Starfield.
Yeah.
Just, the old saying is, you leave the dance with the girl you came with, and it's kind of the way I think Bethesda should handle their games. Is like,
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls got you here. That's what you need to stay with. And since you've got Fallout, you might as well do something with it because it's making money for you.
Yeah.
But, Starfield was a big miss. But anyway, I'm kind of looking forward to... I haven't heard if anybody else is putting out reviews and stuff like that on YouTube. I'm sure the wave of those is coming. I know Critical Drinker and all these other guys will start putting out their reviews probably next week, and I'm curious to hear what they have to say, because I'm not a film critic by any means, and I know I missed a bunch of stuff that they probably saw in the films that I missed. But I hope they don't influence how I look at the show too much, you know what I mean? Because there's a tendency for me to be kind of excited and watch a show and then just kind of like overlook the flaws. And then later on somebody points them out to me and I'm just kind of like, oh, how did I not see that? You're right. This is trash. And I don't want that to happen. Be secure
in your own opinion.
Yeah. For now, at least, I like what I saw and I enjoy it. I didn't catch any major holes or anything like that would just ruin the show, but I could have. I think if anything, I had more problems with the flashback parts of the show than the current era parts of the show, because the flashbacks just showed us a little bit too much about what the past looked like and why they did certain things. And I'm kind of like, we didn't need to see that. Would have been better if you left it in the dark. But hey. Anyway. Anybody else have anything to say about it, or?
No.
Hey.
All right. Well, I'll be looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say about it, and when you finish it up, see what you think.
Yeah, hopefully soon.
All right. All right. Well, everybody, thanks for hanging out with us today, and have a great week in Geek, and we will see you on Tuesday.
Yep. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
On behalf of the staff of the Independent California Motel, I wish you all sweet dreams.